So about 5 years ago, a good friend of mine, Diana Collins, actually she was the administrator here for like 9 years. She had just gotten back from Hawaii, and she wanted to tell me about her trip and asked me to go take a beach walk with her. So we go out on the beach, and we're sitting out there, and she was just telling me how she just loved so much of it, you know. And she loved Honolulu, and she loved Maui. And I said, well, it's never been, real big on my list, but tell me more. And she walked me through different things they did in the course of the week and how much it meant to her. Well, that was on Friday. So on Monday, I was doing a radio on Skype, and I look up in Microsoft Outlook, it pops up, your emails, and over the screen, it said, Reverend Temple, come to Hawaii. Now, I'm telling you the truth, I'm the minister, right? So anyway, it came up on the screen, and I opened it, and it said, Dear Reverend Temple, we have a challenge here at Unity of Hawaii that we have scheduled from the Pacific Rim, all these ministerial students 5 weeks from now, and we don't have an instructor. We've had some things change here, and we need an instructor. And we would like to pay for your flight and provide you with a place to stay and a car. And also, we're going to pay you too. Would that work for you? And that's what the email said. And so I called them and I said, yeah, I'm wide open to it. I said, but there's a couple of things. I need BB to come and be treated as well as I am. And I don't want to make it a short trip. I want it to last a long time. So I'm not just coming there to work. Hello, I want to have some fun, right? And all is well. And so there it was, and there it happened. A great experience. Because it was a thought plus a feeling that became an experience. You understand that? A thought plus a feeling then became an experience. Often, and in the early days when people thought, new thought is to bring forth an ancient thought and make it new to yourself. There's nothing new about it as far as the planet, but they would spend more energy on change your thinking and change your life. A lot of people put a lot of energy and a lot of therapy dollars into changing their thinking, but realized that their life wasn't changing quite as much as they wanted it to. They had a little bit of jump on the road, but it wasn't quite what they were looking for. The part that we want to spend time with also is the feeling. Because when you blend the two, when you marry the two, then you're onto something very powerful, and the experience manifests right in front of your very eyes. Yes. Right? I realized this when I was 8 years old because I wanted a dog. And my parents were very adamant that I wasn't going to have one, and they gave me all the stories, probably what their parents said to them. You won't take care of it, I'll have to feed it, all of that. Thank you for sharing. So anyway, they were very adamant I wasn't going to get a dog. And so I went out and I prayed and I said to God, I want a dog, really, really want a dog. And so in a few days, a dog showed up at the back doorstep. And I named it and everything before I introduced it to my parents. And I said, this was sent to me by God. Well, who's going to argue with that? Right? Practice that. This was sent to me by God. Who's going to argue with that, right? Who's going to argue with that? Nobody. So the dog and I had many, many years to come. The whole point about being a metaphysician is that you don't just live in the physical dimension. It's not just about being a physical person born on the earth with a set of parents, sort of standards, creating habits that will probably dictate your whole life experience. It's so much more than that. It's the part we don't see. It's the meta. It's the metaphysical. It's the beyond the physical. That's when you're really tapping into something that's pretty amazing because you're moving into what you don't see, the element of mystery, and you're allowing it to come into your life. So your wallet, your investments, your relationships, your children, and all the things that you've learned to look at a certain way continue to create in your life the same way because that's the way that you look at them and that's the way you hold them. And as you speak of them, they're doing what pleases you because they think that you like it continuing to be the way it is. Right? When you look in that wallet and you go, nobody's home today, the universe that loves you, that wants you to have what you want, goes, you're my beloved, you're right, nobody's home today. Or there's never enough today, or there's not enough love today, or whatever that is. We put it in and we create it over and over and over again. If we could just stop and go, whoa, let me assess my thoughts, let me deepen my feelings about stepping into who I see myself being. You know, who that feeling, what is that feeling? Because when I align with that, that becomes my new truth. Does that make sense to you? This is elementary, and it's the kind of lesson we all need sometimes. Because nothing or no one is ever against us. And if you feel in your life there's an area in which there has been a settlement and you're not pleased with it, it's because you're the one that settled, God didn't. Right? God hasn't settled in the infinite ways. If we can send people to the moon, if we can still use a safety pin and it makes sense to us because somebody created it, we can figure out a solution that fits your life pattern. Right? In the material of Spirit Expressing, it talks about, there's this statement, it's an old axiom, and it says, what we are looking for, we're looking with. What we're looking for, we're looking with. In physics and in science, what we know in the laws of nature, and I'm sure you've had to do it before, you've had to turn your plant around because it was getting too much sun on one side, right? Because just as that plant is reaching towards the sun, simultaneously, at the same moment, the sun is reaching towards the plant. As you are reaching towards a more expansive version of yourself, at the same time, the universe is pulling that more expanded version towards it. And so it's coming together where most people spend the majority of their time is questioning where they're being pulled, looking at their worth of could they be pulled and why? Why me? Oh my God, why me? I don't know. Wondering, does this work when so many people since the beginning of time says it works if you work it. It works if you work it. And so what I'm looking for, I'm looking with because it's in me. That's why I'm desiring it in the first place, because if it weren't meant to materialize, it would be in somebody else, not me. It's mine to do. And as the Gospel of Thomas says, that which is within you will save you, and that which you deny will destroy you. So, when we go through these places of knowing, wow, I want to manifest, I feel that, I'm ready for some more magic, I'm ready for some more miracles, and I'm just not feeling them, I'm feeling kind of ordinary. You come back to, what are you looking with? What are you doing? Are you feeling ordinary? Are you claiming ordinary? Are you surrounded in a club of ordinary people? Somewhere between borderline boring and tired. Are you in a place that is willing to stretch you to fit into that new patterning? Does this make sense? Is it something you can use when you are at home? It's that part of it. It's like, and so there's that energy of that. There's a minister that his congregation received in someone's will a beautiful piece of land, and they built a wonderful sanctuary. And they are getting ready to have their grand opening for their beautiful sanctuary. And the, whatever that person is, the builder person, building inspector. See, this is all just flowing. Building inspector. So comes out and says, whoops, no, you can't open because you don't have enough parking. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? You don't have enough parking, so you must have an extended parking lot to be in alignment, and you got to do that. So the minister stands up in front of the church and says, I need your prayers, and I need you to pray that we're going to have the opportunity to have another parking lot, and we're not going to have to pay anything for it. He said, I want you to pray that God will move mountains. And he said, we're kind of stuck because we got this mountain behind us and we're not able to build a parking lot there. So in a few days, Acme Construction Company calls the pastor and says, we have a problem. We're building a strip mall downtown and we need to fill the land before we can build. And he said, I understand you have a mountain of dirt behind you. Could we come and pick it up and we will pay you for it and take it? And the minister says, hallelujah, yes. And they build that parking lot. You see, the what I learned as a student, meaning this morning, is that it's my job to say what? It's God's job to decide how. That's where that space is. The what, not the how. And if it is just a barely, like I've just barely stretched for it to happen, why bother? Why bother? I think of Art Linkletter. Does everyone know Lark? If you don't, then see somebody after. Okay, so Art Linkletter. So he told this story many times. He wanted his life to change. And he tells a story about he was in the car with a good friend of his, and he was taking him on the backside of Orlando. And he said he's driving him along, and he says, oh, one day, he says, you're not going to believe it. One day there's going to be hotels here. There's going to be resorts here. There's going to be animals here. People are going to come from all over the world here. And Art looks up, and all it is acre upon acre of very little of nothing. And he said he always regretted when Walt Disney asked him to invest, that he turned him down. He turned him down. And every time I go to Disney World, or any other parks there, I always think about how Disney was fired because the people at the newspaper people at the newspaper said that he was not a creative person. And they let him go from his position. And so you think about that and you ask yourself, was it leadership? Did the leaders not see who they had? Was it leadership? Was it what Walt was looking with at the time? Did he know what he had and he wasn't letting it be seen? Was he like another sacred martyr that was gifted with God's blessings but spent the life questioning, is it supposed to be mine to do? Was that him? Was he like Peter that was out in the middle of the water in the boat with Jesus, and Jesus walked across the water and Peter went, I want to do that too? So Peter did, and so Peter could. And what happened? I know. Yeah, we haven't done that story in a while, since 3rd grade. Anyway, Peter was able to walk across the water too, until he questioned, how is this possible for me to do? How's this possible for me to do? You see. And so therefore, the moment he shifted, here I am, look, I'm living in possibility. So many people do that in Unity. Oh, I love going to that place. It's a lot of fun, and we have a good time, and we clap. And, we have a good time, and, and somebody's in the front, this lady, and she's talking about possibilities, and you can do anything, and all that. And I'm so glad because nobody's ever told me I'm possible before. And I'm so excited. And many people run out or drive home, or they start opening up, and they're opening up something that's been lying dormant, you see. It's not like they're discovering something new. They're just opening up something that's already there. And amazing things starts happening. The phones ring, people start Skyping and beeping and tweeting, and you're just everywhere. Until the moment that you go, I don't know if I can do this. And the universe goes, you are my beloved with whom I am well pleased. You're right. You're right. Or, I'm ready to do whatever I need to do to change the feeling inside myself that I can shift, that what I'm looking for, I'm looking with, so that I can increase that believability in me. I am ready for my platter of understanding so I can step into a consciousness of life that is not filled with just everyday stories. It's not contingent upon what the news told me to think or feel. It's not about my educational teacher and what she said I would be or wouldn't be. It expands beyond the pure beingness of what could be possible if I stop talking, not me, I'm in front of you, but if I stop talking and stop repeating those same things over and over again, and I don't align with a club of people that have convinced me that it's okay to be ordinary. It's okay to be ordinary. You know, we've had a few little hiccups, one would say, little challenges with the healthcare system and doing just the ordinary things that you are compensated to do in that field, you see. And then when I have shared it with 2 or 3 people, what I love to hear them say is when they say, well, you know, that's how they are. That's how the system is. And I say, and that's okay with you? Because that's not okay with me. A system is what it is because we allowed it to be what it is. And a system is what it is because somewhere along the way, people stop speaking for what they believe, they stop holding up the truth, and they let it be ordinary when there's very little ordinary about just not doing what you're supposed to be doing, all in the name of service and with God and with life. Things have been happening around us for a long time, and now we are awake. And we wake up. And whoa, maybe it has been this way for a while, but I'm going to be part of the reason that it changes. Yes? I'm going to be part of the reason that it moves forward. And I'm not going to excuse any more systems and say that it's about the blameless of someone else. It's because I, along with another tribal group of people, have allowed this to happen. You with me on that? That's empowering. It's important. I'll close with this great story. There's a woman going to Rome, and oh, she's so excited, and she goes to her hairstylist, and she says, give me everything you got, because I want to look good. My husband and I, we're going to Rome. We're going to have the time of our life. He goes, you're going to Rome? Oh, it's so dirty there. It's filthy. Why would you want to go there? Oh my God. Rome? I don't get it. Why would you want to go there? How are you going to get there? Flying Delta. Oh my gosh, have you heard about them? It's an acronym, doesn't ever leave the airport. You're doing Delta? What? Are you kidding? Oh, I can't even believe this. Where are you going to stay? Oh, the La Sorrento. Oh, that's downtown. Oh, they say it's awful there, and the service is so bad. Oh my gosh. I know, right? We don't know anybody like this. And so, I won't say the people I see around you, but anyway, no, I don't mean physical people. I mean those. Anyway, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. You stick with what you're doing. So, and he goes, okay, well, I bet you're going to tell me now, right? You're going to go to the Vatican. And you're going to be yet another one of these people that's going to see the Pope. And she said, oh yeah, I'm going to see the Pope. He says, well, I'm going to tell you, when you see the Pope, he's going to be about that big. Because he's going to be so far back in the balcony. That's about it. So, 6 weeks go by. She goes back to the hairstylist. He goes, how did it go? All right? Was I right? Was I right? And she goes, I got to tell you. She said, we had the trip of our lifetime. We had the trip of our lifetime. When we got to Delta and we got the flights, there was some confusion. We got first class seats all the way. When we got to the La Sorrento, oh my gosh, they were renovating on one section of the motel. So what they did is they gave us the owner's suite. And we were like living it up all the way around. And she said, and then the best ever was we got to the Pope, and there he was, and said, his guards came by, and there was only a few of us, and they said, come with us. So we were in a side room with the Pope, just a few of us, and we were in that conversation. And she said, I not only got to meet him, but he actually came up and whispered in my ear. He said, get out. What did he say? She said, it was amazing. The Pope came up, whispered in my ear, who in the world gave you that crappy haircut? What you're looking for, you're looking with. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you so much.